Zachary said, I'm going to throw you a curveball. Do you think Coach Heupel is going to be like Phillip Fulmer? All right, so that we can interpret that question a few ways. So I'm going to start with one way.
Are we talking weight gain or what?
Well, that's a fair question. Do we think? Well, I'll say this: last Tennessee football coach to win a national championship was Phil Fulmer. Will Josh Heupel win a national championship at Tennessee?
I believe he will.
I don't see how we could sit here right now. Yeah. I don't see how we could sit here right now and honestly say, nah, he's probably not going to. Because, I mean, my goodness, when you look at what he has done since January of 2021 to January of 2023, it's mind-blowing. Literally, the program was crumbling and just falling apart. And he has a team that should have made the playoffs in the second year. I mean, that's incredible. And so Zachary clarified his question about winning games. Will Josh Heupel be Phillip Fulmer-esque in how his winning percentage and stuff like that? Well, so here's my take on that. Phil Fulmer said straight up, it's not about X's and O's, it's about Jimmy's and Joe's. Can you get the right guys in there? We know Heupel and his staff are good X's and O's guys. We know that. So if he gets Jimmy's and Joe's in there, yeah, wins are going to come in bunches. And we saw that this year. He doesn't even have the Jimmy's and Joe's he wants in there yet. Not all of them. And we already saw what can happen. You know, you think about some of the new guys.
Today, the final recruiting rankings. Tennessee had 3 kids in the top 50 and 11 in the top 200.
Yeah. I mean, their ability to evaluate talent. I mean, like Nathan Leacock, for example, dude shot up the rankings this last go around here because people saw just how incredible of a player the kid is. People were talking about him during bowl practice, and he just stepped on campus. Imagine what it's gonna be like after a spring training, you know, and being in a college weight room and weight nutrition program for 8 months leading up to the start of the season. Who knows what that kid's going to be able to do this next year?
Well, and this past weekend was potentially the most talented recruiting weekend in the history of the university. And almost every kid walked away saying they were leaning toward Tennessee.
Yeah, like openly. Kids were saying they're my number one after that visit.
Yeah, and there were some absolute game changers on campus. I mean, guys that everybody in America wants badly. You know, I think there's 2 other things that play into that as well. And I think it's where Heupel's very similar to Coach Fulmer. If you look back in the early to mid-90s, Tennessee administration and boosters were all on the same page. And Danny White has done a fantastic job of assembling a really good administration and getting all the boosters on the same page. So I think that's a big part of it. You know, Jimmy's and Joe's matter, but so do facilities and NIL and an arms race. Money's got to count.
Absolutely.
Just ask Florida. NIL money matters.
Absolutely.
And then the second thing he has going for him, Josh Heupel does a fantastic job, not just on his staff, but on his support staff, surrounding himself with excellent people. And that was one of the things that people always said about Coach Fulmer. It wasn't just his assistant coaches. His support staff were fantastic individuals who did a really good job. And what's ironic is a lot of those people are now backfilling those same roles for Josh Heupel. And some of Fulmer's former assistants, I think of like a Steve Caldwell, is working in the back office under Josh Heupel. Heupel knows what wins at Tennessee. He learned from talking to people and gleaning what Fulmer did that was successful, and he's replicating it.